Welcome to the Foxes Focus Show, everyone. Make sure to, as you can see here, like and subscribe to all of our socials as you can. It'd be helpful to do so. I'll be joined with Jonno today to talk all about the Newcastle game on the weekend. As you can see on the title, we've been a bit more positive. Like, don't get me wrong, it is only 2 games of Ruud. It has only been 2 games of Ruud, but there seems to be so much more positivity around the fan base and whatnot. So we want to kind of look into these games thinking we can get these points instead of thinking how much are we going to get battered. So get your views and get your comments in. As always, this is your Foxes Focus Show on Thursday. Get ready for the show.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Foxes Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow us on all socials.
Yes, like I said, this is your Thursday Foxes Focus Show. Get your views and comments in. First comment of the day here, as you can see, Scott says, even saw your team predictions earlier, not looking good. What was wrong with my team, mate? What was wrong with my team? Obviously, we know that the likes of Ndidi and Sumari are out, but we will talk about that later. Let me just bring the other graphic up so we've not got the socials on. We'll bring Jonno in now. Jonno, how you doing, mate?
Nervous for the game, but yeah, nervous and excited.
The one game that you're probably more excited for than most because you are from up there.
I am. My ticket hasn't arrived yet, so I'm a bit worried, but hopefully it should come soon.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully we'll see you down there as well, because I am down there as well. Go on then, Jonno. First thoughts on Saturday's game, because again, like I said at the start of the show, there's been 2 games now which we have witnessed with Ruud in charge. I wouldn't say they were pretty, but we've got points out of it. And I think obviously, like Ruud said in his first conference, that he only wants the results. Doesn't matter how we really play. He wants to see the performances, but the main result is the results. So what's your take on this game on Saturday?
I think us drawing against Brighton and Wolves and Ipswich not picking up points has given us a cushion. We've got that 5-point cushion. No matter what happens at the weekend, we're not going to be in the relegation zone. So it's not, obviously we need to win. We need to get as much points as possible, but we're going to a place where it's notorious for being one of the hardest places to go to on the calendar for any team. Yeah. So it's going to be tough, but as you said, Ruud he's at the moment just not making the team his own with his own tactics. It's kind of like stopping the bleeding and building up from there. Because as he said, he's already got plans for the squad for January. You know, who he needs to bring in, who we might loan out. So I think the players need to prove that they're good enough, or else there's going to be some changes in January. I think we might see enough by then to make his mind up about his tactics and how he wants the team going forward.
Yeah, let's bring a few comments on. Dawn says, I'm going up to the Toon. Hopefully we can see you down there, or up there, sorry. Come on, Les. Yeah, I always do that. I always say going down wherever I'm going. Dara says, come on, Leicester, of course. Dorco also says here, instead of waiting until we're 2 behind to put 2 up front, why not go 2 up front from the start? See, this is one where I disagree with the point of going 2 behind, because I think it was a different story under the Brighton game, because I don't think we were asking to be 2-0 down before we tried. I don't think we had the best. We didn't play bad. I wouldn't say we played great, but the difference was Ruud changed it up when it came to 2-0 down. I don't think, if I'm totally honest, I don't think Cooper would have done that. I don't think he would have had the. If he brought a Daka on, he would have took Vardy off. But Ruud obviously went a bit more gung ho and went, we've got to try and get something out of the result. If you go 3-0 down, it doesn't really matter. You're already losing 2. Go for it. And eventually we did get probably the draw. I think Ruud even said we probably deserved to get a draw. And I don't think I don't think Brighton had many threats, did they?
No. Like, if you compared it to the West Ham game, West Ham, I think the West Ham stats were flattering. I think West Ham did dominate, I reckon, 70% of that game. But their shots, most of their shots were pot shots. They were outside the box. They weren't they weren't full-on chances. So, but Ruud said he wasn't happy with how many shots they had. So we nullified how many shots Brighton had, and Brighton were a much better team than West Ham. So I felt like we weren't like as good as them for majority of the game, but we managed to be good enough to stay in it, nullify them, and come back into it. So as long as we do that against Newcastle, I think we can get a result.
Yeah, Terence does say he'll be there also. Yes, I will be there, mate, with you, having a beer. So make sure we see you down there as well. Holly says he looks like Vardy. Are you talking about me or are you talking about Jonno? I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, we'll take it whoever it is. Dawn also says went 3 up in West Ham game. Exactly. I don't think it was the game plan to go 2-0 down, and it definitely wasn't. It didn't feel like we were going to be getting dominated in that game. Scott also says here, agree with you, Reedy and I'm guessing Jonno. Ruud made impacts which changed the game. Vardy and Daka would never have been on the pitch together under previous management. I agree. Jonno, do you agree with that? Again, we don't want to slate Cooper because, again, even I can say he was probably a really nice guy. But from the beginning, I don't think he'd ever got the backing from the fans. With the Forest connection, with him not really being anywhere near the likes of Enzo in the tactical side of things. Like, what's your thoughts on what Ruud did in that last 10 minutes against Brighton?
I first think he just, like what you said, I think Cooper was very like man for man. He believed what he was doing was correct, and he just made it man for man. But Nistelrooy decided to. The thing is, when we came out in the second half, we were actually on the front foot. I reckon we attacked more, we created more chances. Going down 2-0 was unfortunate because I don't think we deserved to go 2-0 down.
No.
But when we went down to 2-0, he was instantly made the changes to go, right, we can now go full on attack, and we did, and we got the result. So no, I don't think Cooper would have done something similar. I think it would have been, we got 2-0 down and just flopped. I think it would have gone down. Like, I know we got that 3-2 win against Southampton when, again, we were down 2-0. But again, that's a very poor Southampton side. This is a very good Brighton team. And coming back against Brighton, I think for me, is way more impressive than coming back against Southampton.
Yeah, I agree. Again, a good point against Brighton. I think everyone would have took it at the start of the game, so we're glad we got it out in the end. Terence also says not worried about Skip Saturday, who he's partners with. No, I wouldn't either. Like, don't get me wrong, we've already mentioned it, Jonno, that Wilfred Ndidi is out injured for the next couple of weeks. Sumari is suspended, which was the same thing in a way again with Buonanotte against Brighton. He wasn't suspended, but he couldn't play. But like Terence says, is Sumari and Wilf big miss? I would say that I think both of them have done very well under Ruud, but is this now time for someone like Skip or maybe even a Chowdhury, or I don't even think Winks will play, but who do you think will sit next to that Skip role, and do you think we'll miss Sumari and Wilf that as much as people think we will?
I think we'll miss Sumari. I think Ruud has brought him a new lease of life. I think he's been brilliant the last 2 games. But I know Chowdhury. I know, even though he's not the most talented footballer, he puts in a shift, and he's the guy who you want leaving the tackles on them. He's the guy who would, I remember when Chowdhury was like a main starter, and I think it was the season when Brendan Rodgers was the last in charge. He was used a lot, and he used to come as a sub where he would just to shore things up, and he's very good at get the ball off players or making those last ditch tackles. So I think it was also want to prove a point, because under a new manager, you want to prove yourself. I think it'd be a game for him to prove himself to Ruud that he wants to be featured more in the games.
Yes, so I think Skip did well when he came on as well, when indeed he was forced off. But like Callum says here, Hamza will play in that middle. I don't think there's many other players that can play in that defensive minded role now, with 2 players out and Skip already I think Skip's a 99.9% chance of playing against Newcastle. But it is going to be harder because we've seen so much good stuff again with Shimari and Ndidi. But we'll move on now to more of the attacking roles because there's been a lot of talk about Mavadidi not playing. Some people are saying he's not had the work rate for it. But who would you prefer to see in them front four positions going into Saturday's game?
Alcanos, Buonanotte, I think those two are the, and Vardy. I think I think Ruud is very happy with him at the moment. Vardy is not showing any signs of fatigue at the moment, but again, Daka is proving to be a good substitute. I reckon he presses well, and he's proving to be a good asset at the moment. But on the left, this is the thing. I prefer Mavadidi. But in my mind, I'm thinking, are you better for the first part of the game where we're trying to control the game or have some experience? And Mavadidi is that player that comes on to bring that when players are tired at the end of the game. Is he that player to come on and to do it? Or maybe have Elkanus on the left and McAteer on the right. That's mine. Elkanus on the left, McAteer on the right, Buonanotte down the middle, and then Vardy in the middle, Vardy at striker. That's my front four.
See, earlier I spoke to Sam about building our teams for the Saturday's game, and there was one man that Sam did choose him, but I didn't, and I think he's maybe deserving of a drop right now. Don't get me wrong, he's done well attacking wise, but he just doesn't have that finishing edge to him. And Scott even says it as well. McAteer, I think this is maybe where now I think you've got to go all guns blazing in a way of not being all out attacking, but having the likes of Mavadidi on the left, having the two attacking midfielders in the two other spots, and then Vardy up front. I don't see why that is a problem. I don't think you need, like Craig says, I don't think you need AU starting.
No, we don't.
But out of the two of Mavadidi or McAteer, whichever one you want to start on the wings, I feel like Mavadidi will give you more of a threat. And yes, he's not been amazing, but when you have somebody who can have that moment of magic in the 90 minutes to get you a goal, surely you play him. And he's don't get me wrong, he's done well when he comes on. But for me, out of the two, between AU, or even the three, AU, McAteer, or Mavadidi, for me, Mavadidi is the one that starts.
Well, you can argue that IU has scored a few last-minute winners. He got the goal to beat Southampton. He got the goal that got us a draw against Ipswich. Am I correct?
Yep.
So again, he could come on as an impact sub, not as the guy who presses the ball and makes those runs, but the guy who gets the last goal. But Newcastle, the thing is with Newcastle is the main thing is to shut that crowd up very quickly, because if that crowd gets going, that's it. Because I know St James's Park, and it's a cauldron. It's just so, the stands are so high and the noise is so loud, and I think if we need a fast start, Mavadini needs to start.
Yeah, I agree, and I think maybe it's the one. Like I say, Terence also says here that AU isn't not a starter. I agree with Scott. I think AU is more of an impact sub. He's done all the stuff he's done. He scored all of his goals during late on games. But we'll move on now, Jonno, to more of the game. It's going to be difficult. We all know that. I think from what their form looks like, we looked at it, and they've only had 1 win in 5. They've lost 3 and drawn 1. I don't think it'll be an easy game, but I don't think out of all the times we could play them, I think this is quite a good time to play them with the way the positivity that's going through all of us at the moment, and as well that I feel like they're not in the best spot. So what's your take? Because I think it'd be a good time to play them now with us having back-to-back points.
This is the most confident I've been facing Newcastle in the last 3 to 4 years, because since their takeover, they've been a powerhouse. But this is the first time in a while we've seen Newcastle being a bit of a slump.
Yeah.
And with our, winning a draw against a West Ham, we beat West Ham comfortably. Well, We beat West Ham with a good score. We came back against a really good Brighton team, so we're the team on form compared to them. We'll definitely not be easy, and I still don't see us winning. But I think if we are going to win, this is the time to play them.
Yeah. Dawn here says, let's have a few goals into. Yep. Again, I said this on the show earlier with Sam, and I don't know if many people know this, but goal scoring wise, we've got better goal scoring the record, as in how many goals we've scored this season, above all the bottom six. We've got better goal scoring all the bottom six, which should be the way position we are. It shouldn't be an issue. But we've got more goal. We've scored more goals than Forest. We've scored more goals, I think, of Newcastle. I think we've scored more goals than Newcastle, and we scored more goals than Man United. For me, if anything, that gives you every hope that you can stay up this season. But it's that defensive-minded areas that I think would be the issue. But with Ruud coming in, with after that West Ham game, going into even probably a stronger game in Brighton, we conceded less shots, we conceded less big chances on us, and
less goals.
If anything, less goals, and we got more points out of it. So realistically, going into this one, there's every chance we can get a win. And like I said at the start of the season, there's a lot more confidence in a lot of fans now going into this game instead of thinking, oh, how many we're going to lose to this time.
Well, there's only been one game we've not scored in all season, and that's against United. Even under Cooper, there's only been one game we've not scored in, and that's against Manchester United. I think that's the most out of any team in the Premier League. We've scored in the most goals. We've scored in the most games. Not say the most goals, but the most games. So, I think it gives us confidence to know we could get a goal. But again, as you said, it's that defense. Even with Ruud, we still look a bit shaky. But Ruud's done a few fail safes, especially on the right hand side when we're really vulnerable. He shored things up, but again, I just think defensively we're so leaky still, and that's again, I don't think that's Ruud's fault. I just think we've got the players to match up against. But
no, I agree.
If we just shore up, I reckon we can get a point.
Yeah, and we have to talk about the two defenders that Ruud started. I never thought I'd see the day where both Connor Cody and Vestergaard both start in that back line. I just felt like it was just going to be too slow. But I think the only thing that kind of gives every single person a bit more confidence is the fact that both of them are experienced Premier League players. They're both experienced in the fact that they know where to position themselves to not get counted on. If they do get counted on, they have got the fullbacks to protect them. What's your take on these two defenders? Because I'm guessing that you were quite shocked to see both of them start against West Ham.
I am, especially against West Ham. Obviously, before Antonio had his horrible accident, he played against us, and I thought, bloody hell, if he comes on, we're going to be in trouble here with Vestergaard and Cody. But I think the way Ruud uses his defensive midfielders like Indeed and Sumare, they cover a lot of the weight as well. So I don't think I don't see it being a massive problem. Again, that's why we have Fat. He's a lot quicker than those two, but he's been so poor. I'd rather have those two in and have more experience and know where to position and know when to go for the ball, than players that can run quicker, and then use the defensive midfielders to cover under the running or help with the weight.
Yeah, Leon does say going for a 3-3 draw. Again, get your views and get your results in now because we're going to end off in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Costas here says Leicester, the super team, will stay in the Premier League and save the other teams. I before we do get into predictions, Jonno, with Ruud coming in, you can see a bit of a freshness in the squad. You can see the players wanting to play this football now. Do you see us staying up with what we've shown from the last 2 games? I know it's only 2 games. I know Ruud's only been in 2 weeks, but the comparison between Cooper's football and Ruud's football is just night and day, surely.
I want to say this after the Newcastle and Wolves game. The reason being is because I think it's a bit early. Obviously, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing, but Newcastle away, I think, would be because West Ham and Brighton were both at home. I want to see how we are under pressure away from home at a very tough ground. I want to. That's where I will make my true assumption, because it's just. I could easily say now, oh my god, we've got 4 points out of 6. Yes, that's staying up
It's
form.
still early days. It's still early days. I know that.
It is. But after Newcastle, even if we do lose against Newcastle, if we play really good football and if we're in the game for 90 minutes, then yeah, I think we could stay up.
Yeah. But I will say, you were saying about being in a hostile area in St James's Park, but West Ham got a result there. I think a lot of other teams this season have got results at at Newcastle. Sorry. So again, it gives me more confidence saying we can get a point out of this. We can get even a win out of this. Dalvester here says a 2-2 draw. Richard here says Brighton had no big chances. Both goals were just great play. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another reason, another bit of credit we can give to Ruud from coming in to show them that we aren't an issue at the back when it comes to big chances. You have to score good goals against us to score, like Lamptey did. And then the last, we'll bring this comment up here. I think we'll stay up, not been in the relegation zone all season to this point. Another big one for us, mate. Everything that people are saying, every stat that people are talking about, the stats I've spoke about today are all
staying up form,
going towards staying up, scoring most goals. Yes, we've conceded less goals in the last 2 games since the manager's come in. We're scoring goals for fun at the moment with the way we're playing. I don't see a way right now. Yes, we've still got a lot of games to play. I have got so much confidence in going to this Newcastle game, thinking we can get a point out of this. Would you take a point right now?
Absolutely. If you said to me, would you take a 2-2 draw? I'll snap your hand off.
Would you say a loss is a bad result against these with the form they're in? They've only won 1 out of the last 5.
No, but only if it's not. If it's like a 1-0 or a 2-1 loss, I'd be like, okay, fair, it's Newcastle away. But if we lose 4-0, then yes, it depends on the game. But if we lose a very close game, like fair enough, it's not the end of the world. But if we lose badly, then yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, I agree. Scott here says 2-1 win to Leicester, hopefully, mate. Normally you'd see some comments in here saying would lose to this game normally, but I think there's a lot of positivity around the fans at the moment. Richard does say here, we have spoke about this before, but midfield may be an issue. I think it would be, but I don't think we've got that bad of a backup in Skip. He did well when he came on against Brighton. I made that brilliant pass to Bobby Reed to make the first goal for Vardy. Any more cards before we do get into the score predictions? Scott here says, do you think Ruud may play a mid to low block? See, this is one. Go on, Johnny. You say first, and I'll say my point on this.
I don't want him to play a low block. I want him to go at Newcastle. This is Brighton are a better team than Newcastle at the moment. I understood playing more defensive in that game. We still had chances to push up, but if we want, again, shut that crowd up, go at Newcastle at the throat from minute 1, go at them, don't play a low block. Only play a low block if we feel that the game's turned, like the pace has turned a switch aside to Newcastle, then play a low block. But to start with, don't see a low block. I want us to go at them.
Yeah, Terence here says who scores first wins. 1-0. He says whoever scores first will win it. Again, you can always get that early goal and shut the Newcastle fans up. Paul Newbold says 2-1 Leicester, hopefully as well. Craig here says 2-2 because what I've seen in the first 2 games, there's something different about our team. Exactly. And that's what Ruud's done. He's solid up the team. He's making us play a bit better football, and there's some tactical knowledge in that team. Go on then, Johnny, before we finish. Score prediction, and we want to know first goal scorer.
2-2. Buonanotte and Vardy.
Will we score first, or will we go 2-0 down again?
I reckon it'll be 1-1. They'll score first, then we'll equalise. Then we will score, then we'll bottle it.
No, don't do that. I don't want to be up in Newcastle and be 2-1 up and then draw 2-2. But then again, like we have said, a draw is a good result. So
a draw's a good result.
You can't really fault it. winning
if we're
games.
4-0 up, then drew 4-4, then I'll be pissed. But yeah.
Yeah, Dorcas says attack. Yes. Robert says Tux and Fox here. It was kind of watching a 16 team, a lot of overs over the top passing to Bardi 2-1. Maybe so. Jane here says 3-1 to Leicester. Now I've got to do my prediction, haven't I? I said 3-1 in the tactics talk earlier. I'm going to stick with it. 3-1 to Leicester. I think we're going to go.
Very brave.
I would love to go 1-0 down just to go back and win 3-1. That would be amazing.
Do you think teams score against Leicester now and get complacent, and then we come back? Because it's happened 3 times now.
Maybe. I think Brighton got very complacent. At 2-0, I was about to leave my seat, not because I wanted to leave early, but I couldn't see a goal going in, and I knew the game was probably over. And they were complacent. We got into them, and we got the goal. But credit to Ruud again for that.
Mavrodidi, for that second goal, he was the main catalyst. So again, reason for Mavrodidi.
Yeah, and then Tato Blue says here 3-2 to Leicester. I think we'll see more of the young players' debuts and will shine. Do you know what? Before we do finish, I did see this this comment from Ruud in his press conference today. I don't know if you saw it, Jonno, but he was saying about looking at the under-21s with the issues we do have, maybe in the likes of JJ on the right-hand side, maybe a few other players as well, that he's looking at the under-21s to find maybe players who can slot in these troubled roles. What's your take on that? Because they're maybe not ready, but maybe it could solve a problem that we haven't got access to right now in like a replacement for JJ in the full 11.
Look at Gakpo, players like that. He raised them up. If he can turn them into brilliant players. Why can't he do that with Leicester? He knows what he's looking for. He knows the signs of a young player. If he sees a young player, and recent history, we've been very good at raising players for the ranks, like James Chowdhury, Ben Chilwell, Harvey Barnes, all these players we've raised up. I know Maddison, we bought him, but it was at the club for a long time. Mahrez, well, not Mahrez, but we're very good at raising young players up through the ranks. And I reckon if he finds someone, then I trust in Ruud to know what he's doing.
Yeah, and then I think Dorco said this message because of my prediction. Why wait till we go behind? I'm not saying wait till behind. I think it'd be amazing to go 1-0 down to come back and beat them 3-1.
Just to confirm, 3-0 would be better.
Yes, of course. But it is a way. You're not going to expect us to completely dominate.
We're going to concede. We just got to score more.
But I would much rather prefer to win 3-1 after being 1-0 down than going 2-1 up or 1-0. And then beating them 3-1 because it could be a tight game. You want it to be a 1-0 and they're going complacent, and then you go and beat them by getting 3 goals. Right, Jonno, that's where the show ends. Thank you for coming on again. We'll catch you again. I'm guessing either on Jamie's show on Sunday or next Thursday for the Wolves preview.
Again. Yeah, Wolves preview as me and hopefully Simon's back. But yeah, we're doing the Wolves preview. Hopefully, with a 6-point gap from the bottom 3 would be perfect, but we'll have to wait and see. It can't be because Wolves and Ipswich are playing each other, so it can't be.
It could be a draw and it could be 5 points.
Yes, that's the dream. That
would be the dream. That would be dream. There you go, guys. Appreciate you coming on, Jonno. Again, appreciate you coming in. We'll see you next Thursday then on the next Fox's Focus show.
See you later.
There you go, guys. Another show completed. Another show ready for the game on Saturday. Terence, last comment of the day, says defensive masterclass Saturday 1-0 with Leicester City. Mate, we'll be buzzing on that bus on the way home. Don't you worry about that if we win in 1-0. I'll be going chaotic. I'll be all over the place. I'll get drunk if we win 1-0. But there you go. Right, guys. Appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you all on the next show. And make sure to follow us on all of our socials, as you can see there. Yeah, can't wait to see you all for the next show. See you in a bit.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents A variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow us on all socials.